And you were concerned about this team just a week ago. And hey, what do you know? They take a series from the Yankees, and the Dodgers offense once again shows just how explosive they can be. My name's Ryan Bershinger, and today I want to focus in on one of the high points of that Yankee series, and that is Yoshinobu Yamamoto's coming out party.
That's right. I'm Beau Benson, and I am going to tell you one thing about this Dodgers team that has become very clear after last weekend.
That's right. It's just Beau and I today, a little swing shift reunion for you. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Let's get into it.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. The Dodger Zone.
Strike three. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter at 10:17 in the evening of June the 29th, 1990. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky.
The sickest LA Dodgers podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Well, wrap it up. Hey, call
That's
it
right.
there, huh?
This is Dudes Rock the show, brother. We are back.
Dodgers win a series against the Yankees, so let's just give them the title, huh? Like,
That's
why
right.
not? You know,
Mhm. Might as
that's
well.
fair.
Might as
That's
well.
what you remember last year, ahead of the Braves series. We said, hey, if the Dodgers win this series, put them in the World Series. It's done. You know, show's over. Yeah, I guess it doesn't.
Well, it's
work
weird
like
that they canceled the World Series last year. So
That's true.
Yeah.
You know, COVID's still around, so like they had to take measures. It just didn't happen. Dodgers, of course, playing the defending World Series champions after.
Yeah. It's crazy how every championship series like just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Like, haven't you noticed how the NBA Finals is supposed to be on right now, but it's just not? Like, what's happening here? We need to investigate. There should be a full-scale investigation into this.
The hockey season ended like 2 months ago, right? Like that's been
there's no hockey anymore. That's not happening. I'm not watching that right now.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
So let's look on this Yankee series here, okay? Because it was a great series for the Dodgers.
Yeah. That was a great. Hey, you know what? Tip your cap to baseball.
Yeah.
It's a great series for baseball.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers.
Everyone should celebrate that. We should all be happy. And
Ken Rosenthal got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. I think our friend JP Morosi was probably out there. The big guns. Big guns were out there. No Rob Parker, I don't think, though. So
No.
Next year.
He's locked in on the sports rap radio in Detroit. So he was there setting things up.
Right.
So I think let's start off with I think the biggest high point of that Dodgers Yankees series, and hopefully we can kind of look at that win on Friday as what really sort of turned things around for the Dodgers, because offensively they couldn't get anything going. In fact, for 10 innings they did not get anything going. Mm-hmm. They got to the 10th inning where they were given a runner on second and they still could not get a runner to third base. They did not have anybody touch third base until the 11th inning, which is awesome. But hey, it didn't matter because in the end, it's a win all the same. And a big reason why they won that game is because Yoshinobu Yamamoto came out and made a statement in front of a stadium that had given him a jersey already. Yeah. They tried so damn hard to bring Yamamoto to New York, and he said, "This is very nice. Thank you. I will put it on a hanger, and it will be in a great spot in my closet." So he went out, pitched 7 shutout innings, only 2 hits, struck out 7 against one of the best lineups in the league. Now, yeah, I understand, and this is the drum that Yankees fans are going to beat all season when they think about this series. No Juan Soto, and fair.
That's fine.
Soto's been fantastic for them. You know, we spent much of last episode praising him, and within hours he pulled a muscle and then didn't play in the Dodgers series, which, like, at first I was like, oh man, suddenly our content is dated. But then on the other hand, I'm like, did we do that? Like,
is that because of us? It's possible.
Because he played after the Dodgers series.
Well, you know what? You know what it is though too. Like they want to say no Soto. It's like, all right, fine. Well, we don't have a shortstop, so it's all fair.
Yeah, come on.
Big deal, guys.
Yeah, or really a third baseman.
Yeah, we don't have it. The entire left side of our infield is just dust. It doesn't exist.
And you'd think with so many right-handed bats in that lineup, they could just hit it to the left side of the infield where nobody is and just get on base constantly. But
but they didn't.
The Dodgers were able
swinging for the fences.
Stupid analytics. The Dodgers were able to completely shut down the Yankees offense in that game, shut them out for 11 innings, which was incredibly impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And the most impressive part was, of course, as I said, Yoshinobu Yamamoto completely shutting down that lineup.
Yeah.
And going into a hostile environment that was a playoff-like atmosphere. The players mentioned, like Teoscar Hernandez spoke about that after the game, who we're going to mention Teoscar a lot because he just had a phenomenal week. After the game, he talked about how, like, I want to play in this atmosphere. Like, this felt great playing here. And he also has said since then, like, he wants to keep playing for the Dodgers. I think we're doing a great job of making our pitch for Teoscar to continue. And hopefully, like, the Dodgers do retain him after this season.
I would try to get him on a Max Muncy deal, like, right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, slightly discounted, a couple years. And
you don't gotta go into free agency again. Although the Yankees will probably give him $300 million after last weekend too. So
sure.
you gotta watch out for that now too.
We'll just give Soto, a 1 year, $58 million, just see what happens. But yes, Yamamoto having such an incredibly impressive outing. I think you can now put a stamp on him. You can say firmly, this guy has become an ace in the majors. In less than half a season, he has already reached that level of production. And we've got him for like another 12 years. It's beautiful. So I think the big thing, especially coming out of that outing, and if you look at the Rookie of the Year chase around the league, Shota Imanaga came out incredibly strong for the first couple months for the Cubs, but he has had a couple of weak starts recently, so he could be maybe regressing a little bit. So forget the Rookie of the Year chase, though. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is a legit Cy Young candidate.
Yeah.
Because I fully expect this level of production to continue throughout the season for him. And you'll get to the end of the year, and he could absolutely have his name in the running for Cy Young.
I mean, the last I checked, there are still just 4 teams in the National League that have a winning record at this point in time.
So.
Do the Padres finally have one, or no?
Maybe.
Yeah. So either way, it's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So I think you can cross any of those guys off the list. None of those starters are going to be there. I don't think Paul Skeens is going to keep this up throughout the rest of the season, and I don't think they would give it to a rookie like him anyway.
Right.
So yeah, like there's no reason to think that Yoshinobu is not a legitimate Cy Young candidate at this point in time. There's just none. Like nobody on the Phillies is really blowing people away. I mean, they have that one guy, but he's not a big name.
Ranger Suarez, he is having a very strong season.
Great year, and he's got the East Coast bias or whatever. But I don't know, man. Yoshi's been so good, and like as you said, like now that he finally did it on that stage in New York for the entire country to see. Like he's an ace. He's an ace. That's fine. He's an ace. It's just he is. It's okay to say it. Like right before that, you started to have like Cubs fan accounts doing like, "Oh, who'd you rather have, Yoshinobu or Shota?" And it's like, well, I don't think it's a question now, brother. I don't.
Yeah, and quite frankly, it should have really never fully have been a question. Like, there's a reason why those guys got the contracts they did.
Yeah.
I mean, the ceiling with Yamamoto is insanely high. Imanaga is like more in his prime right now.
Yeah.
So I fully expect him to be
something, isn't he?
Yeah, and he'll still be very good for a few seasons here. Like he got a contract that was very fitting for a guy of his age and his caliber. Like it made a lot of sense. Yeah. But there's a reason why Yamamoto got the gigantic deal, and that's because like a lot of scouts prior to the season said Yamamoto, if he was in the top 100, because technically he's a prospect, right? If he was in the top 100 prospects, he would be probably top 5 at the very worst top 10 total. he would be the second starting pitcher behind Paul Skeens.
Mm-hmm.
And now we all see what Paul Skeens can do. So to say that Yamamoto is second to Skeens is in no way a slight to Yamamoto.
No.
So
I was super impressed with Paul Skeens when they faced him in Pittsburgh. That was the guy before him too. That was not fair to have two guys that throw 100 back to back.
No, Jared Jones.
Lineup. Yeah,
it's, and especially like that was the Dodgers' problem, right? Especially through their offensive struggles was I think our friend Scott Gearman had put out the numbers for like since Max Muncy had been gone. I think I'm confusing two stats though. The numbers since Max Muncy had been out of the lineup at one point were rather abysmal. They were, in the bottom 5 in the league in average and OPS and OPS plus and everything. But there are numbers against starting pitchers who throw like on average over 95. They're like in the bottom 5 in batting against those fastballs.
Bad enough where Dave had to address it. It's not just some like nerd stat that you pull up on Twitter. Like everybody knows it. Yeah.
Right. And so there's really no positive way to spin that. Like it is kind of bizarre in this day and age to be collectively not that great against velocity. Yeah. I mean, for most organizations that makes sense, right? Like that's why organizations try to develop pitchers who can throw at max velocity like that, because most teams struggle with it. But you would think an organization as forward thinking and as analytically driven and with an immense scouting department as the Dodgers would not have those sort of problems. They'd at least be league average against velocity. So that is a concern, and that's kind of why. And I was talking with you before this because I was thinking about like where the Dodgers are at right now, and come playoff time, because the Phillies are playing so well that the Phillies may very well end up with the best record in the NL, which would then put the Dodgers second, meaning they would have to play a division series at the 3 games. Coming out of that. Or wild card series, rather, 3 games. Coming out of that Pirates series, like the Pirates are right now, because as you mentioned, like most of the league is either 500 or worse.
Yeah.
I think the Dodgers coming out of the Yankee series have now only played like 10 games against teams that are above 500, which is insane. But watching that Pirates series, like the Pirates are actually a team that could sneak into a wild card spot. Right now, they're like a shade under 500, I think.
Yeah. Their offense sucks, but their pitching is good enough.
And if you're looking at like a 3-game series with them, with Jared Jones, Paul Skeens, Mitch Keller, really in any order, I would rather face the Braves in a playoff series.
I would rather face the
series than the Pirates. Which is nuts. Like that feels like super hot takey to say, but like honestly, if you look at it, especially with the way the Dodgers match up, like I think with like Chris Sale, Max Fried, and Ronaldo Lopez is working as a starter again. But that's 2 lefties, and like the Dodgers have been able to hit Fried in the postseason before. And the Dodgers are also like not awful against left-handed pitching right now. So
the Braves also just they haven't been good since Ronald Acuna passed on. So like that's a weird team out there too. Like I'm curious if they're going to try to recreate 21, although that'd be pretty hard to do.
I know.
Yeah, the Pirates scare me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Paul Skeens is going to keep it up through the entirety of the season. Like they're going to hit the rookie wall. He's going to hit the rookie wall eventually.
He's got to be on some sort of innings limit. Like,
we got to get Baby Gronk. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to go Riz Oblivion for the Dodgers right before his start.
Send Baby Gronk as a psyop to take down the Pirates.
Yeah.
Baby Gronk once again has lived. There's rizzed up Liviedon.
Rizzed up Liviedon.
And now Paul Skeens is in shambles.
Yeah. The Phillies, I wouldn't be so quick. JT Realmuto's he just got knee surgery. He's going to be out.
Yeah.
And while you were previously incapacitated, I was watching a bit of the Phillies getting rocked by the Red Sox again tonight.
Sure.
So we'll see. I think mostly as a whole, it's just embarrassing that baseball is so bad this year. Like it's not just the National League, I don't think. Like I think the American League is also bad.
It's probably worse. I mean, look
Yeah.
at the A's are like not incredibly
Yeah,
terrible.
no, they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're.
And-
I think I saw the Rays are below 500 right now. Like, it's
is
just
weird,
everybody.
yeah.
Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Everybody but the Yankees, the Orioles, and the Dodgers suck.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
it's so good. That's a team I wouldn't want to play in the World Series either, mind you.
The
is the
Orioles?
Orioles. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I'll
No,
take the
there's-
Yankees in the World Series. That's fine.
Right. The Orioles have so much talent and like so much youth,
Mhm.
and it's no, they are in fact a scary team. They're pretty
But
loaded.
yeah, all that to say, Yoshinobu will probably win the Cy Young. I'd put money on that today if I could.
Damn.
If we lived in a real state that had its priorities together, we weren't being oppressed every day.
But like speaking of the level of competition, like so you've and you've noticed this too.
I think
like, with the way that the Dodgers, because as I said, they've played like 10 games against teams that are above 500, and
so
it's
like,
June.
Yeah, and their biggest series so far has been the Braves series with
Yeah.
Acuna that they swept, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And then this Yankees series that they took 2 of 3 in New York.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's pretty clear by now that like they play up to their competition.
Mhm.
I don't know if there's any other way to put it. Which could be good, it could be bad. Like, we'll see. I don't know if this team has that like insane 45-10 July August run that the Dodgers usually have, but I mean they're gonna win the division. I think we can put a pin in that.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna win their division. I think the Brewers are gonna win the Central. I think the Phillies are gonna win the East, and I think we can lock that in today. So like, we'll see. I mean, the Phillies, I guess, is going to be the next big barometer test, and the Brewers, but everything in between then, like, I don't know. We'll see. There's going to be a lot of frustrating, like, Padres Cubs series where they lose 3 or 4 games, 2 or 3 games, get swept, look like shit, but then they're going to go play the Brewers and just fucking annihilate them.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It is an interesting thing to notice, but we can't really fucking say it's for sure because they don't play anybody. They literally don't play anybody that's above 500. It's so stupid.
I know. It's not our fault too. That
No,
is on the league. Everybody's bad.
Yeah, everybody's just bad.
There's just a lot of bad teams.
Everybody is just bad. It doesn't make any sense.
And now
But
that's the other side to it though, is that they do play up to their competition, but they also play down to their competition.
Yeah, they really do. They really do.
Like we've seen that.
The game that Skeens started, they could have won that game.
Yes.
But they played like absolute horse's ass.
Yeah.
I think they left like 13 runners on base or something like that. It's just
and like James Paxton got shelled instantly, right?
Yeah.
That was the same game, right?
But they still like could have won.
Yeah.
I think they had a lead at some point in that game, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was
possible.
They got close. It's just as a side note, I don't want to hear about the San Diego Padres anymore. Can we stop trying to make that happen? Every time I see that team, it's like I have to hear about how like their rotation is right there with some of the best in the league and all this stuff and blah blah blah. And I look at the box score and it's like, they lost to the A's today 2-1, or like they walked off 2 games in a row against the Oakland Athletics, and I'm supposed to believe that this team matters to anybody? Like, I'm sorry, but like, and I know this is gonna eventually get clipped and used against us when they sweep us in the postseason. But like, damn, dude, I don't. The fact that the Padres and the Giants have any hope at all of seeing the postseason is such a huge indictment on what Rob Manfred has done to this sport.
Yeah.
Like, it's so stupid. It is so stupid. Nobody in the National League but the Phillies, Dodgers, and Brewers deserve to play for a World Series title. And I don't even know if the Brewers deserve it, to be honest with you. Like, I truly don't. So the fact that like it most likely will not be one of those 3 teams that advances to the World Series is shameful.
Yeah.
It's shameful. We are what was your thing? It's like after 60 games, like that's who you can tell like what a team is, right? It's like mid-July, early July. If that's true, then like can we just not allow anybody but the Phillies, Braves, or Phillies, Dodgers, or Brewers to be in the World Series? I would put the Braves there, but like without Acuna, like they can't score any runs.
Right.
So yeah, And the fact that we are most likely not going to see one of those 3 teams in the World Series is just so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's so weird because, well, first, like with the Brewers, the crazy thing about the Brewers is there's nobody who believed less in that team than the Brewers front office coming into the season.
Like, it's major league, but for real. Like, that's what's happening.
Their ownership group, their front office, like they've spent years telling Corbin Burns he wasn't that good, and then they traded him away at the start of the season. Because like they just didn't want to ever pay him. Like they took him to court over $700,000 in essence. Like, and he came out of the arbitration hearings going like that kind of sucked. Like they said some things and I'm not gonna forget. Like that wasn't cool. And now he's on a way better team. Again, the Brewers. But the crazy thing is like the Brewers are good and they're winning the division. And they have like a broken down pitching staff, and like I don't know how they're doing it. They different like they had Craig Counsell stolen from them by a team within their division, and they're still winning.
Did you see Rosenthal said that they might be willing to deal Adames for starting pitching?
That's hilarious.
I don't think I would do it.
I know, because they would ask for like Gavin Stone.
Yeah, they would need they would want a major league starter, and I'm not trading Gavin Stone for one half season of Willy Adames.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. Knack.
I know, right? Like River Ryan, maybe. Start. Yeah. He's got to be better than what you're throwing out there now.
Yeah. Here, you have James Paxton finish out the season for you. Man. Okay, so but speaking of like weird managerial things,
and insiders,
this is something that we wanted to talk about because it came up today. Chris Cotillo, who is or might be pronounced Cotillo. I'm assuming it's Cotillo.
I don't know. He's a good writer though.
He is. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a reporter.
If you hear this, we're sorry.
I know.
We said Andy Pages the first time we ever had to say his name.
Yeah. So maybe I'm over adjusting.
Yeah, blame Ryan.
Reports for the Red Sox. He was on foul territory, and he was asked about like what's going on with Alex Cora, because again, like we saw the Brewers just like have Craig Counsell just ripped out from them. So like Alex Cora in essence can be a free agent at a given moment. And Cora said to apparently the report is that Cora said like he's keeping an eye on the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Phillies. And like he had mentioned like Craig Counsell as sort of the sort of archetype for like what he could potentially do. And
the Cardinals are thrown out there too. That's I wouldn't go there.
It's I mean they play baseball the right way. So I get it. That would actually be hilarious if they brought in Alex Cora, who was kind of major in the whole 2017 fiasco. But hey, and then Cardinals fans like, yes, we're doing it the right way. But anyway, the point is that this kind of sparked a discussion where people were surprised to hear Alex Cora mentioning the Dodgers job, given the fact that, of course, the Dodgers have a manager. They have Dave Roberts, who has been there for quite some time now.
Who is, we've been hard on him, but he is one of the better managers, I think, in the sport.
100%.
Yeah.
This is something I want to point out because I do think it is a very interesting discussion, and it leads us to a greater discussion about Dave Roberts and his future. But I do want to point out that like Alex Cora was asked about like managerial jobs that he would want, and then proceeded to list the 3 best teams in baseball. So are we really shocked? Like it's if you were at a really nice restaurant and like the chef came out to your table and was like, you know what, I'm gonna make any dish you want for free, and you went, well, I'm incredibly picky. And I'm really selective.
Can you go get me a double cheeseburger from McDonald's?
And then was in essence, and then you look at the menu, and then you just pick the 3 most expensive things on it. And you're like, these, just because they strike my fancy.
I'm not single, but if I was, I would be interested in dating Margot Robbie or Rihanna. So just throwing that out there.
Just going to make the intentions clear.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Cora, of course he would be interested in the Dodgers job. He also
Who
played for the
wouldn't be?
Dodgers. Like
Yeah.
it is literally,
Who wouldn't be? It is
like,
easily if it was somehow open tomorrow, you would have guys that have jobs right now quit just for the opportunity to manage the Dodgers.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Which like brings up my main point about Dave Roberts. I did a radio hit on the Bernie Fratto show on Saturday night on Fox Sports Radio. And Bernie asked me, scale of 1 to 10, how much is Dave Roberts on the hot seat this season? Like, how much is this a make or break season for Roberts? And I said like an 8. I also, that feels high, but that also feels like, from the fan perspective, like that's where it always is. Like in the fans' minds, Dave Roberts is always on the hot seat. Every season, in their head, he's on the hot seat. In the front office's minds, it's the complete opposite. Where the man is infallible. Like he can do no wrong.
That was our thing too this last offseason. I think both of us were like, I wouldn't fire Dave for what happened against the Diamondbacks, but I would be completely understanding if they did do it.
Yeah.
And the fact that they didn't do it, he's not getting fired. I truly don't believe he's going to get fired unless they get swept by an under 500 team that makes the wild card round or something. And Dave just pushes every single wrong button he possibly can, and they lose the series and just get clowned on. And then Ohtani goes to them and is like, hey, fire this guy.
Yeah.
Then they would fire him. But even then, I don't think they would fire him.
No.
I truly don't think he would. I don't think he deserves to get fired.
Yeah.
I truly don't. He's got the highest winning percentage of any manager ever. And yes, that's obviously because of the team that he manages. But dude, it would take a catastrophe to fire Dave Roberts. Which I know fans don't want to hear, but that's just the truth. That's just what it is. And I mean, Ohtani's made it very clear that he has a good relationship, I think, with Dave Roberts. So as long as that's solid, he's not going anywhere. Flat out.
Yeah. It would take a monumental collapse. We're talking just straight up missing the postseason.
Yeah.
Which
if they went out at the deadline and acquired Carlos Correa and Nolan Arenado, and those guys proceeded to hit the all-stars they are, and they still somehow went under 500 and missed the playoffs, then maybe you would see Dave Roberts get fired. But even then, I don't know if it's possible.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. So yeah, I think I mentioned it to you, but I think people just need to kind of understand how the information business works in sports media. So Alex Cora very clearly wanted the Dodgers and Yankees names out there because Alex Cora is trying to get a new contract.
Yeah,
that is 100% what it is. So as he mentioned the 3 best teams in baseball. I could go manage here, Boston. I wouldn't mind it, especially the Yankees.
Yeah.
Oh man, it'd be such a shame if I went and managed the Yankees. I hope you pay me. Everything that gets put out there gets out there for a reason.
Yeah.
We saw it happen last weekend with Adrian Wojnarowski and Dan Hurley and the Los Angeles Lakers. Everything that gets put out there by somebody is out there for a reason. So yeah, it doesn't matter. It's a fun little thing to talk about, but Dave Roberts is Teflon at this point.
Right. And again, deservedly so, because honestly, and how I felt every offseason is when people were screaming for Dave Roberts' name, I'd always feel sure, yeah, like you said, because of the last couple seasons, there were times where I'm like, if he does get fired, fine, so be it.
Yeah.
I understand it. I'm not going to be mad about it. But at the same time, you have to think well, what's the alternative?
Yeah. You could do better, maybe. You maybe could.
Yeah.
You could do a hell of a lot worse too.
Yes. Yeah.
You really could.
It is easy to screw up.
we all sat there thinking that Bob Melvin was a home run hire for the San Diego Padres, and he lasted a year.
Yeah.
Before he was like, "Get me the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Like,
He did
the
not like
only
those
time,
guys.
the only time I think firing Dave would have been justified was I think 2019 when they lost in the Nationals.
Sure.
That was disastrous.
Yes.
That was the one time where it was like, dude, you have to fire this guy.
Mhm.
So him not getting fired after that, it's just not. It's not going to happen.
No.
It's not. It's just not.
And the only way I would see them moving on from Dave would be, in fairness to Cora, a situation like that in which they're taking somebody from another team who has a proven track
record.
record.
And to be clear, I would rather have Alex Cora than Dave Roberts.
Honestly, like there's still I still have to get over a lot of the stuff with 2017, but I'm over it mostly.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
But like strategically, Cora's a brilliant manager. Like,
yeah,
he's very good.
Mm-hmm.
So like if that was the person who stepped in instead, I would celebrate it.
Yeah.
Like I would be down with it.
I mean, I was banging the drum for Carlos Correa when he was a free agent, so I can't really do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I did warm up to that idea too.
Yeah.
So like I get it. It wouldn't make sense if they're gonna go out and get somebody who A, hadn't managed before, or B, had previously managed and is not currently in a job, or C, had previously managed and is now really big on TikTok apparently. Have you heard that one?
Was he Gabe Kapler, right?
Yes, yeah. Gabe Kapler is hitting it off on TikTok. Because,
well, he's like a Phillies, isn't he like an associate GM or something? He's like with the Marlins or something like that.
He does something, but you know, he's on TikTok. He's a very fit man. Like we can recognize that. And he's got a handsome jawline.
The hand tattoo is a little too much for me. I don't like that.
No,
that's tough. Can you imagine like Dave Roberts fired, Charlie Manuel takes over?
Exactly. like that's the thing. Like they would end up, or like realistically, honestly, like what if they fired Roberts? Like, would they just make Mark Pryor the coach?
Probably,
honestly, because like it would be kind of a move to protect Pryor from going elsewhere. Yeah, and they would just like make him the manager and still just have him be the pitching coach, and then I don't know, have somebody else set the lineup, I guess.
But it's just it's a fun little thing to talk about, but I just don't see it happening. I don't think Cora's going to leave the Red Sox. The Red Sox are one of those. Red Sox are so weird. Like they have those periods where they're just dog water, and then like they win a World Series, because Boston just gets to have everything nice.
Yeah. I can see him kind of having that wandering eye, because again, like if you compare it to Craig Counsell, who again had a front office that was behaving as if their team was going to be really bad, and then kind of scared him, and then the Cubs come along who have a bunch of young talent, and they're like, here's a whole lot of money, then sure, you know what, I'm gone. And with Cora, as you've mentioned, like the Yankees are going to continue to compete. The Orioles have forming a juggernaut, really. Like the American League East has gotten so top heavy with them. Like even the Blue Jays are, considering selling off like franchise pizzas. And Beau Bichette will become our shortstop in a month. So,
please, sir, I can't do this anymore.
We get that Beau Bichette, Kevin Biggio left side of the infield.
I need a real shortstop. I can't do this anymore.
Hey, 10 seconds on Kevin Biggio, shall we? Because that was an actual piece of news.
Yeah, that was the thing that happened.
Hey, he's on the team now.
Right,
the weird thing, of course, was the fact that like Miguel Vargas was sent down instead of Chris Taylor being DFA'd. But I think the big takeaway there is like, are you really gonna like kind of throw away like $22 million just to get Kevin Biggio on the roster? Like I don't think so. I understand it's also to keep Miguel Vargas up, but Miguel, he wasn't getting enough at bats.
No, they didn't let him play. I don't know what. No. I don't know why they do that to him. It's weird, because it's gonna get to the point where it's like Michael Busch, right? Where it's like, I don't think he's a quad A player. I think he's a major league player. They just need to actually give him some run. Yeah. And they don't do that. So I don't know what their plan is with Miguel Vargas. But yeah, Biggio's just a guy. Yeah. But he does hit 200 which is 100 points more than Chris Taylor. So get him out there.
Double that batting average, baby.
Yeah.
I kind of like Kevin Biggio,
Yeah,
because he can actually like play third, which it takes Chris Taylor and Kike off the lineup against right-handers, which was needed. Gives a little more versatility in the infield, and he can hit a little bit. He had a nice opposite field hit last night. So
did he get a hit last night?
He did. Yes.
Good for him. Let's go, dude.
Yes, it was a nice and
Nothing
he could have
else
had a
happened
shot at walking it off,
Yeah.
but Andy Pages
Nothing
looked
happened.
right at
Nothing
Dino
else
Evil
happened.
and said, "Hey, wonder who that's for." And just
Andy
just
Pages
kept-
round in third with the
he should have. That would have been so good. Dino Evil's just doing this, and Pages just like going full sprint.
wasn't even close,
Yeah.
man.
Hasn't even put his hand back down yet.
I
And the
sent
catcher's
group
already
chat
on
a
the
message because I didn't have a chance to be watching it live. So I was just like, what did Pajes do? And then Monty sent a message about it, listening to the radio, and then I actually watched it as she was sending the message. Send him down. Send his ass down immediately. I don't care anymore. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, dude.
He looked directly I'm assuming he looked. He said he didn't see him, but like what's great is on the shot of the runner ahead of him scoring, you can see Evil in the background already with his hand up, and it's a good 5 seconds passes before Pajes gets to the plate. So like he was well ahead of it, but he saw the center fielder bobble it and he said, "I'm scoring. I don't care. I'm doing it."
So bad.
It reminded me like one time when I, in pony baseball when I was a kid, I drew a walk, and I don't know why. I don't think the pitcher dropped the ball or anything, but it was on a walk. I dropped the bat, and I'm full sprint. As if I had just hit it in the gap, and I am going as I'm running at first on a walk, and I round first, and I'm taking off for second.
Real ball.
I was maybe hoping like this is going to be so disorienting that people are going to have no idea, and I'm swiping second easily before he throws a pitch. No, he just turned around and threw it to second and threw me out. And then my coach is like walking out to me as I'm walking back, and he's like, "What? Why'd you do that?" And I didn't say anything because I don't know why I did it. I got it in my head that I'm taking.
How old were you?
I was probably 14 at this point.
Oh, hell yeah. So you weren't a kid.
I wasn't. No. I was cognizant enough.
Yeah, that's real ball. That's real ball.
Put your head down and hustle. And sometimes if you try hard enough, you can just take that base.
Yeah.
But I didn't. I thought I was being smart and clever.
You'll never know if you don't try. So kudos to you.
All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. Quickly for Dodgers, our sickest Dodgers of the week. Do you want
Yamamoto? It's Yamamoto. Come on. Yeah, come on. Okay. Best start as a Dodger, by far. Doing it in New York on that stage. Round of applause.
Well done, Yoshi. For me, again, we have to talk about him. It's Teoscar Hernandez.
Yep.
Great. Last 7 games, in 357. That's 10 for 28 at the plate. 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, slugging exactly 1,000. So yeah, incredible week for Teoscar. Really, really sparking the offense, which was so incredibly needed. And coming up in situations that mattered and coming through in that way. Well done. And as I don't want to steal your thunder because you have a good take on Teoscar.
I do actually have a good take on. Doesn't he feel he has World Series MVP written all over him, right?
Yeah, he feels like that.
Like if they do make it, fingers crossed. It's not going to be Ohtani. We know for sure it's not going to be Mookie. We know for sure it's not going to be Freddie. And every World Series MVP feels like a guy that just comes out of nowhere, and Teoscar has that written all over him. Yeah. So,
hey, Mookie has had back-to-back games where he had 2-out RBIs that were pretty significant. So, like, he's
you know what?
he's getting some good clutch hits.
Freddie has turned it on in June.
Yes.
So
yes, he has.
Yeah. I don't really care what they do now. I just don't trust them in October, so they are welcome to prove me wrong. And if Mookie and Freddie hit like they can in October and prove me wrong, I will sing their praises until the cows come home. But until then, I hate the way that they dress. Hate everything about them.
I'm gonna give you Monty's sickest Dodger of the week.
Yeah,
Monty, who's currently hopefully
fighting the hordes.
She's working a Yoshinobu Yamamoto bobblehead night, which was going to line up with a Yamamoto start, but the guys need a break, so bullpen game. Or maybe maybe Michael Grove toss a 7 shutout innings. We'll see. Monty's sickest Dodger of the week is Kike, and that is because it was the Sunday.
I did not see it happen live. It was the Apple TV game, so it was
the Apple. So that would be Friday. When Kike was mic'd up on the field, which I
is insane.
That they do.
They did that to an infielder, and that's insane.
It's
supposed to be outfielders only.
Yes. The exact problem with it is what happened to Kike, where they're talking to him and a ball is hit to him and he's like, hold on, and then commits an error. It's so classic. Let's stop doing that. Kike, I'm glad you tried. All right.
Yeah. No animosity towards you, brother.
No, it's not your fault.
It's Apple TV's fault entirely.
That's an error that goes down on, unfortunately, your baseball card, but 100% belongs to the crew at Apple TV.
I don't even know who does those games anymore. Who's Apple TV's crew? It was Katie Nolan and Hunter Pence.
Yeah. With Steven Nelson did some of them too. I don't know if Steven still does some of them.
Solidarity with Katie Nolan.
Yeah. Bring back Katie Nolan. Why not? Sure, she wasn't good, but hey, bring her back.
Have you heard the A's announcer? Jeez.
I mean, the problem is Katie Nolan, and I say this, I like Katie Nolan. I think think she's funny and is knowledgeable. The problem is baseball was not a thing that she's knowledgeable in. So, and it was very obvious. She'd be hanging out and be like, what's going on now? And they're like, oh, that's a balk.
That's called a home run, Katie.
Hey, it's fine. Look, a lot of people watching baseball don't fully know what's going on, so sometimes they need a voice. So that's totally fine. Anyway, Kike is the nomination here. And yes, stop miking up players. The only time I really liked it when they did in the All-Star game, especially when they mic up the pitcher and catcher battery. I think that's incredibly interesting. And you know what? Do that in a normal game. Why not? I want to hear what the pitcher saying to the catcher.
Court rules in favor of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He is the sickest player of the week.
Let's see.
Sorry, Teoscar. Sorry, Kike.
We'll send this to the comments. This is let us know in the comments the sickest Dodger of the week. My name is Ryan Bershinger. He is Beau Benson, and Monty Bolaños will be back with us next week, I'm sure.
If she makes it, I mean,
if she
could be underneath a pile of bobbleheads right now.
there's a non-zero chance.
Yeah,
she's never leaving that stadium. This is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow our podcast on wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Spotify or Apple. Or the other ones. The metrics show that an overwhelming percentage of people use Apple Podcasts, and then Spotify's 10%, and then there's a couple people out there who use Pocket Casts or something like that. So there's some other ones. Again, this is the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone. Thank you all once again for checking us out. We always appreciate any support. Give us a nice rating, and we will catch you next time. Domo arigato. Thank you very much, everyone.
See you guys.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, the Dodger Zone, on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.